Welcome to the Exegetical Process Overview. This is an attempt to give you a big picture idea of what you can expect for your homework assignments over the next 7 weeks. This first slide is just giving you a big picture of where we are headed in trying to answer the three main questions in hermeneutics: what it meant, what it always means, and what it means to us. You'll notice that under the what it meant, you're going to be doing papers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 1, we're going to do the setting and the life, and as follows, and you can read through it, and we'll go over those in detail. Let's look at each section that you'll be doing in the course of this process over the next 7 weeks. The first worksheet that you'll be turning in, you'll be doing the setting in life. And again, this is trying to understand what it meant, which is very historical and time-bound. We need to try to set 1 Thessalonians in the setting of its origin. We want to know who wrote the book, to whom the book was being written, the date of the book, the occasion of the book, and the place. And by that, obviously, we know it was written to the Thessalonians, but we're also interested from where it was written. In this paper, we're just looking at the big kind of context issues of trying to understand the background so that we can have a better understanding of the particular passage in 1 Thessalonians 5. The second worksheet that you're going to be given will be you doing the setting in the book. Here we want to understand our particular passage in the context in which it was written. If I can give an example from, say, 1 Corinthians, many times people will just go to 1 Corinthians 13 and say that, well, that's the love chapter. But that's actually in a setting in chapters 12 to 14 that deals with spiritual gifts. And Paul is giving the proper motivation for spiritual gifts in chapter 13, what we know of as the love chapter. So what we want you to do here is to outline the whole book and then to try to describe our passage. How is it being included in this overall train of thought that Paul is giving? In worksheet 3, we're going to be looking at genre, grammar, and syntax. And we'll be describing this in the upcoming videos, but we want you to just ask yourself the question, what should I keep in mind if 1 Thessalonians is an epistle? How am I going to understand the grammar that's in this particular passage of Scripture? And we'll highlight some special themes here, especially when it comes to punctuation. On the fourth homework you'll be doing word studies and then cultural historical studies. I'll be teaching you how to do a word study, giving you options on which words you'd like to choose from the passage, and then just asking the big cultural historical issues that might impact our understanding of the passage. On the fifth homework assignment, you're going to try to be summarizing what the original author said to the original audience. And then we want to cross-reference that with Scripture to make sure that we don't over-exegete or under-exegete the passage of Scripture. And then we want to try to restate that meaning in light of the rest of Scripture in a universal way. In worksheet 6 or homework 6, you're going to be asking how that passage impacts your life as well as the life of your intended audience in terms of whoever you're going to teach or preach. And then in the final homework assignment, we're going to ask you to just develop a very, very brief sermon. We're only going to ask for two things: the thesis statement and the main points. Obviously, there are other aspects that are involved in teaching and preaching, but we're just going to be asking for those two to see if you really understand how to take all of your research and put it in such a way that people can follow what you're speaking of. So that's just one big picture of where we're going in terms of the homework over the next 7 weeks. Hope you enjoy.